Well, let's get to it, man. First segment of the day, we're going to talk about Will Howard, man.
Mhm,
But my thing about what the hell is going to happen with Will Howard.
mhm,
Chat, look, everybody was excited when the Steelers drafted Will Howard. He was a 6th round pick. A lot of people thought he could have went sooner, but everybody was excited about Will Howard.
mhm,
And the thing about Will Howard, and I said it, and there were some of you that said it, is like pump the brakes a little bit. He's a
mhm,
6th round draft pick. Some people are, hey, let's start Will right now.
mhm.
I'm like, okay. Well, now we have Aaron Rodgers. And Will Howard is going to be the third quarterback on this team. Mason Rudolph is ahead of him.
Mhm,
Okay. And
mhm,
everything through minicamp, it showed Mason Rudolph was better than him at minicamp. He got more reps. It's Mason Rudolph is the clear number 2 quarterback for the Steelers. And
mhm.
that's the way it should be. But if the Steelers, regardless of what happens this year, if they draft a quarterback in the 1st round next year, which all of us are saying they need to do,
Mhm.
okay, now what? I'll start with you, Big G. Does Will Howard ever get on the field?
Well, it's a possibility because I'm not so sure that Aaron Rodgers is just gonna play 1 year. I'm not
Okay.
convinced yet. I wanna see how he looks moving forward. Aaron Rodgers might double down and come on back for another one, right? The longer Aaron Rodgers is on the roster, in my opinion, helps the development of Will Howard in a lot of ways. He gets to absorb information from a first ballot Hall of Famer. We saw what happened when Favre, who didn't like Rodgers, did that for him. You saw what happened when Jordan Love sat up underneath Rodgers, right? Even a bum like Zach Wilson said, I learned a whole bunch of stuff from sitting up underneath Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Right.
So Will Howard's got athletic ability. He's got some semblance of talent. But sitting behind a Hall of Fame quarterback can never, ever, ever hurt you as a professional. You're only going to learn and grow and develop. And you can get corrected from a guy that knows how to correct you and put you in the right spot. So as long as he ain't prideful and he listens, his development will accelerate faster than just being thrown to the wolves at the start of the 2025 season. Because I'm telling you, if Mason Rudolph would have got hurt and we'd have thrown Howard to the wolves, oh man, it'd been a long year, bro. And I like Will Howard, but he wasn't ready to do that, bro. Sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, it definitely does help his development. And like I said, B, I ain't sure Rodgers is done after one. I ain't sure yet. I ain't sure. We'll see.
No, and I agree with all of that, but that only puts the case even further back
Mhm,
because look, the Steelers aren't going to take a 1st round draft pick to sit him on the bench.
mhm,
That much I can assure you. Now,
mhm,
I'm not saying that the 1st rounder has to come in and start from day one. I'm not saying that, but
mhm,
they're not going to draft the 1st round pick and then say, "Oh, 3 years down the road, yeah, we're done. He's never going to play."
mhm,
He's going to get a chance to play.
mhm,
So my question is Will Howard ever going to get a chance to play? Because if especially under the scenario that you said, if
mhm,
Rodgers has a good year, the Steelers win a playoff game, and Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I want to play another year.
mhm,
Okay. We I asked that question yesterday, and I've asked before. The majority of people would say, yeah, bring him back.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Well, if the Steelers then they draft a quarterback in the 1st round, then they have Aaron Rodgers, then they have Mason Rudolph, then they have Will Howard. First of all those guys aren't going to make the team. That's
Facts.
number one. The Steelers aren't keeping 4 quarterbacks on the team.
Mhm,
Somebody's going to the practice squad. And you know who's not going to the practice squad is the 1st round draft pick.
facts.
That guy ain't going to the practice squad. So
Mhm,
that's number one.
mhm,
Number two is like, okay, well, I mean, that's my whole thing is like, where do you put Will Howard? Everybody wants to put him in and okay, and let him battle Mason Rudolph. If that's the case, great. If he beats
mhm,
out Mason Rudolph, okay,
mhm.
fine. He's not going to beat Mason Rudolph out this year, though. That
Facts.
part's not going to happen. He's not
Facts.
going to beat, and not only that, we don't want it to happen
Mhm.
because that means Mason Rudolph ain't any good. That's what
Yeah.
because Will Howard's not ready to play right now, people. He isn't. Mini
Mhm,
camp showed us that. Okay.
mhm,
I don't know anybody heard report. Will Howard was up so up and down, and he's supposed to be up and down. You know,
Yep.
that's the whole thing. He's supposed to be up and down. He's not supposed to be ready to play. So he's the number 3 quarterback. I mean,
Mhm.
he's going to be ahead of Skylar Thompson. So I'm not concerned about that.
Mhm.
But that's not where we're at. So my question, and again, we bring in a first rounder. Will Howard might be exactly what a lot of people think that he is, a 6th-round pick that's a good backup quarterback. Is there
And
anything wrong with that if you're the Steelers? Because personally, I say no, G. I don't think
mhm,
there's anything wrong with you drafting a guy in the 6th round and he ends up being a good backup quarterback for you. Like, what the hell's wrong with that? I don't think
mhm.
anything.
No, nothing, bro. I mean, think about it. A 6th round draft pick, you get to sit behind an all-world guy. They bring
Yeah.
in a first-round draft pick, you holding the clipboard, right?
Yep.
The best ability in football is availability. And you never know when you're going to have that opportunity to do what you need to do. It could be a scenario where, and we've seen this before, where go back, RG3, right? They drafted RG3 in the first round. They drafted Kirk Cousins as a 4th or 5th round draft pick. Wasn't nobody expecting that out of Kirk Cousins. Oh, guess what? All of a sudden, RG3 got hurt. Kirk Cousins got in there. Kirk Cousins made a whole lot of money, bro. Kirk Cousins still in the league off of what he did in Washington. So what Howard needs to do is get his skills up, get his ability to be able to process a defense up, work on his throwing, all the little things because he's an athlete, he's freaking huge, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But if he works on those things, dog, I'd be a 10-year career backup in the NFL. And guess what? I ain't got no hits on me. I was holding a clipboard and a baseball hat all the time. Hey, I'm with that. For 10 years, pay me, dog, for 10 years. So I'm not mad. These people that think that he would be upset to being a 10-year backup for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's crazy. He just wants an opportunity when his opportunity comes to show that he can play football. And if he can, then hey, he might play for us, he might play for somebody else, bruh. But he just needs an opportunity, and that's why it's better off for him to sit. We might see him, we might not. We'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole thing about it is he's going to get an opportunity to be on the team. That's
Mhm.
number one.
Mhm.
Now, as far as playing time is concerned, that's a different conversation for a different day. I said, but like I said, I think Will Howard is fine, but people that just assume that he's going to be great, like people in the chat talking about, well, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Okay, that happened once in a lifetime.
Right,
Once.
facts. Yeah,
Well, but Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. Okay. It's another once in a lifetime. I mean,
facts.
the NFL isn't walking around with a bunch of 6th-round draft picks that are starting quarterbacks in the
Mhm,
National Football League, people. I'm sorry. That's
mhm,
just not a reality. That doesn't mean that anybody wishes any ill will on Will Howard. That doesn't mean that anybody doesn't hope that he succeeds. We're just talking actual reality. Because again, I don't think there's a person that's in this chat that's come to this channel anytime that we've ever talked about the Steelers getting another quarterback, a
mhm.
franchise quarterback that doesn't want the Steelers to draft one next year.
Facts.
Everybody said that we've built up, we got all these draft picks, we're moving up to get us a franchise quarterback next year. Well, that franchise quarterback is going to get an opportunity to play. That
Mhm,
is going to be, that's going to happen.
mhm,
And whether it's Will Howard is here or not, that 1st-round pick is going to get a chance.
mhm,
So, and that's why I asked the questions like, hell, what the hell happens to Will Howard? Does he really get a chance to play?
mhm.
You know? And unfortunately, this is not new to Will Howard.
Facts.
Will Howard had the same thing happen to him at Kansas State. You know,
Mhm,
a lot of you guys don't know I am on a podcast and part of a team, Go Power Cat, that covers Kansas State. I played football at Kansas State. The
facts.
same thing happened to him there. He came in as a freshman, didn't really know what was going on. It was COVID. 2021 came. He got thrown into the lineup because Skylar Thompson, who happens to be a Kansas State Wildcat as well, got
Mhm,
hurt. So Will Howard went in. He wasn't really ready to play then either.
mhm,
Okay. Then the next year, 2022, he thought, okay, I'm going to get my chance. Nope. Kansas State brought in a guy and gave him the opportunity, Adrian Martinez, but Will
mhm,
Howard was better than him. When Martinez got hurt, Will Howard came in, and they ended up winning the Big 12 title behind Will Howard.
Facts.
Senior year at Kansas State, up and down year, wasn't great, didn't have a ton of weapons, but he wasn't great either. Then he transferred to Ohio State for his last year because, in football now you can play 75 years and they don't have any rules. So he's
Mhm,
able to play another year and he wins the national title. Had a
mhm,
good year until they played Michigan. And then after that,
mhm.
after they played Michigan,
You
turned
know
it
where I'm
on.
going. You know where I'm going, you diabolical hater, you. You know where I'm going, you diabolical hater. You know, already
Look,
know.
man, y'all know me. I'm just a facts guy. I just throw out facts.
Mhm,
Michigan can't beat Ohio State, or Ohio State can't beat Michigan. It is what it is. But
mhm.
bottom line is, this has happened to Will Howard before, and if it happens again, I don't know, man. First of all, it's like you said, there ain't nothing wrong with being a 10-year backup quarterback. Name me a better job where you get to work for 6 to 8 months a year, get paid that kind of money, don't really have any expectations, and you don't get hit a lot, and
Mhm.
you're playing football. It's pretty good work if you can get it.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think Will Howard will have a chance, but how much of a chance is he really going to have, G?
Well, the issue is just having an opportunity. That's the bottom line. If when opportunity arises, what can he do? That's where he's got to be prepared for. He's got to be prepared for his moment. When opportunities arises, what can you do? Are you going to mess up like how you gave through the description of you at Kansas State where they was like, nah, we got to go get a portal dude? Or you when opportunities arise, he's like, look, man, this is my job, bro. I'm trying to win this job. He's got to be able to perform when opportunity arises. Do I think he can? Yeah, but he's a 6th round draft pick. So having a high expectation like that, that's not really fair, bro. That's not really fair. But could he be a serviceable backup? B? Absolutely. He could be a serviceable backup for 10 years easily in Pittsburgh. And we'll take that. Because guess what? What about this scenario? What happens if Rodgers after this season says, I'm hanging it up? And
Mm-hmm.
Mason's like, I'm not going to get an opportunity to play here because they're going to draft a quarterback and I want to go somewhere, right? Now, all of a sudden, where we seeing him at 3 and 4 in the depth chart, he could be the rookie's backup with some level of NFL experience up underneath his belt. So it ain't all bad for Will Howard, bro. It's actually sort of good,
It's
to
not
give him a,
terrible.
yeah, yeah,
It's
facts.
not terrible. Jimmy K says it's hard to predict his future 10 years down the road until we at least
Mm,
see him play a few snaps in the league. You never know. No, you don't know. That's the
mhm.
whole thing. Like we could say, hey, he's going to be a career backup. He could be a pro bowler. He could also be out of the league in a year. So
Facts.
there's a lot that we don't know. But
Mhm,
that's all I'm saying. Based on what the Steelers situation and what they're trying to do, it might be a situation where he literally never gets on the field.
mhm.
So that's just something to keep in mind. I know there's a lot of excitement about Will Howard, and there should be. There should be some excitement about him, but just keep that in mind that he may never play football. He may never play football for the Steelers. So
Facts.
Jay Howard with the super chat said Will Howard already has a stash of Thunderbird for this situation. Well, he might need it.
Mm,
He just might need it.
mm.
So, but I
But
like it.
he's a rookie. He's happy. Listen, he's happy to be in the NFL. You saw him out there.
Exactly.
He was running around like a kid in a candy store out there with Pittsburgh, doing all kind of
Yeah.
extra stuff. And the veterans was looking at him like, dude, what is you doing, dog? You need to chill out. Little young whippersnapper. But he was like a kid in a candy store. He's from that region, that area, and he wanted to play for the Steelers his whole freaking life. So yeah, let him be giddy and happy as a kid, running around like a rook, doing what he does, doing rookie stuff. He'll be all right, man. He'll be all right. We'll worry about Will Howard maybe at the beginning of 2026. But for
Gotcha.
now, he's fine. He's fine, man.